Thank you for joining me today for this community briefing. I want to talk about a couple of topics that I think are important to all of you. First and foremost, school safety. With students and teachers returning to school, safety is and always will be a top priority for us in the Orange County Sheriff's Department. We've taken a multifaceted approach, first on preparedness and proactivity. I want to highlight several programs that we have within the Sheriff's Department, the first being the School Mobile Assessment and Resource Team, referred to as SMART, that was formed in 2001. The focus of the SMART program is to have an early intervention and identification program for some of our students who might be experiencing challenges. These can be brought to the attention of our staff either through faculty, through law enforcement contact, or with parents bringing their students to our attention and taking them to diversion programs to put them back in a good place and continue with their education. In 2020, the state came to me to expand our School Mobile Assessment and Resource Team funding. And with that opportunity, I teamed with some of our North County agencies to have a North County SMART program as well. Those particular cities and police departments that are participating are Anaheim, Garden Grove, and Irvine, with the Sheriff's Department to make sure that we have the county well covered with this intervention program. In 2021 and 22, the SMART team had over 300 threat assessments and calls for services specific to threats that were identified on school campuses. And these are a wide range of threats. Many of them are minor. However, we take every one of them serious and we act before they materialize into something that could be much worse. Our SMART team also does training, and in that training we have trained almost 500 school administrators and school site staff personnel on the early intervention strategies and identification techniques to work with us to bring students into a safer place. I'm also very proud that in the construct of SMART, we have a mental health clinician from the healthcare agency that works with our team, and they have the ability to diagnose and oftentimes intervene and get them into a better place. That isn't mostly a law enforcement centric contact. It could be with a clinician that might be more appropriate based on the issues that that student might be encountering. Also, I'm proud that every high school in Sheriff's jurisdiction has a school resource officer, 16 in total. I think this is a critical program to make sure that we have a presence on our school campuses to keep our schools safe, and also connectivity with the students, and they bring about any risk that they identify to the attention of our school resource officers. I want to transition and talk briefly about some of the drug trends that we're experiencing, and specifically about fentanyl. I have been talking about fentanyl, if you've joined me before, for many years, and since 2016 to 2021, fentanyl-related deaths in Orange County rose 1,600%. Last year we had 693 deaths total that were fentanyl-related. Earlier this week we had a deputy sheriff on a call for service who was exposed to fentanyl inadvertently. That deputy's partner administered several doses of Narcan, or naloxone, which is an over-the-counter version of Narcan. It's a nasal spray that is an inhibitor to the effects of fentanyl, and thankfully that deputy is going to make a full recovery. Also, which is most alarming, our coroner's office reporting that statistically the #1 killer of teens, that's kids 17 and under, is now fentanyl. It's surpassed traffic collisions and suicide as the #1 killer of our youth. And we can expect, without intervention from our legislature or awareness programs, that trend will continue. We've seen a doubling of fentanyl-related deaths almost every year since 2016. We have to treat fentanyl as an epidemic and take action immediately. Our department is involved in efforts to take drugs off the street through our narcotics street programs, enforcement programs, and in schools by educating our children about the dangers of drugs, specifically fentanyl. The Drug Enforcement Agency just put out a warning about fentanyl pills that are now on the market in the United States being sold by drug dealers, known as rainbow fentanyl. They do this deliberately to make these drugs look like candy for children to consume and young adults. But they do contain fentanyl. It's one more way that the drug cartels are trying to market this illicit drug, despite the dangers that it has to our youth. We have not seen, I'm proud to say, rainbow fentanyl in Orange County yet, but we can anticipate that trend continuing throughout the United States, and at some point we'll make a presence within Orange County. I also want to point out that October is Red Ribbon Month. Red Ribbon Month is where we give school-age children red wristbands and encourage them to participate in anti-drug position to never start using narcotics in the first place. The Orange County Sheriff's Advisory Council provides funding for red ribbon wristbands to all students in Orange County. Regarding personal safety, property crimes continue to see increases throughout our Orange County service area, mostly the result of some changes in legislation and the lack of accountability for people committing these property crimes, particularly catalytic converter thefts and thefts from vehicles. These are crimes of opportunity. The best way to not be a victim of crime is to prevent the opportunity for these crimes to occur in the first place. Please take preventative measures by always keeping your car locked and your home secured and removing valuables from your vehicle. Most importantly, do not leave items in plain sight within your car. It just invites people to enter or break into your car to steal them. And it could be as simple as stealing loose change or a cell phone or something they might see, or even packages within a car. For more safety tips, I ask you to visit ocsheriff.gov/StaySafeOC on some of those property crime prevention strategies. I want to talk briefly about cybersecurity as well. Keeping our kids safe online is always a top priority for the Sheriff's Department. I know that of parents as well. With kids going back to school, we want to make sure that they keep their devices secure, and it's a great time to readdress and reaffirm cyber safety with your children. It's important to instill safe cyber practices from a very young age. We recommend parents come up with a plan to monitor your child's online activities. We have a section also on our website, ocsheriff.gov, dedicated to cyber safety for children. You can find that under the Highlights tab. We encourage you to browse these resources and see our safety info card for more information. This week, the California legislature concluded their 2022 legislative session. I want to thank the members of the public who responded to my request to contact your legislators and let your voice be heard. Some areas that we had success with Senate Bill 925, a bill authored by Senator Pat Bates and sponsored by the Sheriff's Department, was signed into law. This particular bill requires drug testing for all fatal traffic accidents within California. Throughout the year, we asked for your help to encourage your legislators on certain bills. I'm glad to tell you that additional bills that could have been harmful were stopped. We stopped bills that would have weakened the bail system, limited communication with federal officials on serious and violent offenders, and hurt cooperation between schools and law enforcement in protecting our students. I want to specifically thank Orange County's legislative delegation for their efforts to stop bad bills and enact legislation that keeps our community safe. Stopping bad public policy is important, but we also need common sense laws to address California's challenges and restore balance to the criminal justice system. Going forward, my ongoing plea to our state leaders is to restore balance to the criminal justice system by holding accountable those who violate our laws and victimize community members. This includes passing our fentanyl bill introduced this last year by Assemblywoman Cotty Petrie Norris and Senator Pat Bates. For information on legislation and how it affects us in Orange County, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at OC Sheriff Barnes. Our progress on the James A. Music Facility in Irvine is expected to come to conclusion in 2023 and should be open in about 1 year. For those who have an interest in serving as a member of the Orange County Sheriff's Department and serving their community, we have employment opportunities for both sworn and professional staff positions across the department. Learn more at ocsheriff.gov under Join OC Sheriff. Be sure to follow us on social media for the latest updates at OC Sheriff and at OC Sheriff Barnes on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you for your continued support in helping us serve your community. Our next community briefing will be closing out 2022 and looking ahead to 2023. Please stay tuned.